Do you struggle with finding ways to get things done? Today, I'm going to share my 10 best tips for organization and productivity. Let's go. Hello, welcome back. I'm Noreen Burke, and this is The Crafty Organizer. I am an avid crafter, but I am a professional organizer, so I love bringing you tips and suggestions on ways to organize, declutter, do DIYs, upcycles, but I love jumping into crafts as well. Today I wanted to go back into an organizing video and bring you some of my favorite tips and suggestions for handling projects, ways to break them down, and be successful at organizing and finishing anything. So let's start with my number one tip, and that is set a goal. I know this sounds simplistic, but sometimes when you're so overwhelmed by your surroundings or projects, the first and most important thing to do is decide, what do you want to do? By really focusing in on what you want to do first, you're able to start taking the other necessary steps to really funnel in and harness your energy to complete these tasks. And this can apply to organizing, completing a project, weight loss, paying off debt, even changing habits. So identify what it is you want to do first, and then it's time to go into the second step, which is create a to-do list. Creating a to-do list allows you to break things down into the manageable steps so that you know what it is you need to get done. I've always loved this graphic of the importance of breaking things down into steps. Imagine climbing a 20-foot ladder where that first rung is set at 8 feet. If you're little like me and you're only 5'2", reaching that 8-foot rung is going to be impossible. But if it was set at every foot, I could easily climb that 20-foot ladder with no issues. And as cliche as it is, remember, even the biggest tree started out as a tiny seedling. So there's going to be a lot of steps. You're going to take it slow. And if you get frustrated, just take a step back and remember, this project or task or goal that you're working towards did not get into the condition it's in overnight, so getting it back under control or to the way you want it is also not going to be fast. But breaking it down into steps is the absolute best approach for anything. Number 3 is one of the most overlooked tips when I'm working with somebody to tackle a project or a goal, and that is set a time. Yes, putting it on the calendar is really helpful to remind you to keep working towards that goal, but even more important, when is the best time? I am a morning person, so I wake up and I am ready to go. But at the end of the day, I have zero energy. So for me, I know the best time to get my important things done is early in the day. So make sure you're finding a time that works really well for you, especially if you have any type of chronic pain. Make sure you're doing it when you are at your peak performance so that you're really successful. Following up on finding the best time, number 4 is limit distractions. Now, of course, if we've got a lot of family members around, it's really difficult to work on a project, whether it's for yourself, working out, budgeting, organizing. So try and find a time when you don't have as many distractions. That sometimes includes having a TV going, or having your phone accessible, or having your laptop where you could just keep Googling things. So make sure that your focus is truly on the task at hand. And this also includes making sure you are not hungry. I cannot work if I'm hungry. All I can do is think about how hungry I am. I get a little bit shaky. I'm not productive. So limit any distractions that could come your way. Number 5 is one that I've spoken about before, but it really proved itself to be successful last year while I was on Weight Watchers, and that is practice accountability. Whether it's just telling someone on the phone, having someone that you meet with, even having a small group, which is what I did with Weight Watchers. Meeting every single week with my Weight Watchers group really held me accountable. And I stopped going last fall because of family sickness and things I was trying to stay up with. And I got to tell you, I have started gaining weight back, and it's because I'm not being held accountable. I'm not getting that positive reinforcement from those people who were going through the same thing as me. And it's just easy to slip back into old habits. So accountability isn't just for someone to say, you haven't done this, but it's to celebrate the wins. It's to encourage you. It's to encourage each other and sharing a mindset so that you're working towards a common goal. So if you have a friend or someone online, use that accountability partner to get you to your goal. Number 6 is going to be one that you've heard before if you've been with me for a while, and that is setting a timer. I love timers for a myriad of reasons. And don't worry if you don't like having a timer set if it gives you anxiety. I have tips for that as well. You can set the amount of time that works for you, whether that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, it doesn't matter. Whatever time works for you where you can focus on something and then go to something else, it allows you to only focus for a set amount of time and then it allows you to do something else. If you don't like timers, you can use songs, albums, playlists. For people who don't like music so much, you could have a movie going or have a podcast or an audiobook. The important thing is don't overdo it. I like timers because if you're struggling to get something done, you really don't want to do it, it's a tough task, having a short amount of time means that you can just work on it, get it done, and then walk away, and you feel that satisfaction of doing something. The flip side of not using a timer is so often someone will be excited about making progress, so they're hunched over a desk going through papers or organizing clothes, and then at the end of the day, they are completely wiped out. Their back is sore, their knees are sore, their whole body is aching because, yes, they made a lot of progress, but now that discomfort will knock them out for a day or two, especially for those of you who have chronic pain. Setting that timer, whether it's music, movies, a playlist, an audiobook, setting a short amount of time gives you that pause to check in with yourself and see, am I in pain? Do I need to take an Advil? Do I need to take a break? Do I need to resume tomorrow? Once you start establishing what your appropriate length of time to tackle something is, then you can go forward and set longer times or more frequent times. But I don't want you guys hurt, so please, in the beginning, set short times and you'll be so much happier with the project at the end. Number 7 is a tip that I have loved using for a long time and I have shared before, and that is track your progress. No matter what you're working on, take a picture right away. Most of us have smartphones now that have a camera. Snap a little picture, and as you are taking little breaks or stopping for the day, snap another picture. Because oftentimes we're thinking we have not accomplished very much, but by looking at the photos, you start to realize just how much you've gotten done. Have you ever had a small child and you look back and realize, oh my gosh, they've grown so much in 6 months? But they're with you, you're not noticing that growth, much like the little plant seed that I showed earlier. If you're watching a plant grow, you're not noticing how quickly it's growing. Our progress oftentimes gets overlooked the same way. So track your progress so that you can see just how much you truly are getting done, because that visualization of progress is going to be so motivating for you. Number 8 has mixed reviews on whether it works or not, but for me, I always say use labels. Even if you don't want things labeled once everything is done. If you're setting up a file system, if you're preparing for a move, if you are organizing, make great, big, large labels temporarily for things. And the reason I talk about this so often is muscle memory is real. Have you ever reached in for something and somebody moved it and you're thinking, where is it? It wasn't you looking for it. It was that muscle memory of where something is. By temporarily labeling everything, as you're going through your project, you can easily see where the items of a category belong and you can put it inside. I'm working with someone right now who's working on paperwork and they didn't want to create labels until they were all done, which meant every time there was a new piece of paper, they were going through the multiple files to figure out where to drop it in. You do not have to keep labels up if you do not like that aesthetic. I understand it. Once you know where something is, that's fine. But as you are putting together a project, Make sure you've got temporary labels so that you're not wasting the time of figuring out which box was this, which file folder was this, I'm moving, where was that pile of XYZ? So save yourself some time. Labels, once memory is established, don't use the labels anymore unless you love the look like I do. I briefly touched on number 9 when I was talking about setting the timer, but that is take breaks. I've already mentioned the importance of not overdoing it, so do be sure you are taking multiple breaks. You can come back after just a few minutes, but it's so important to reassess how you were doing that I had to mention it again. Number 10 is just the little cheerleader in me, and that is celebrate your progress. It's so exciting to see a small surface cleared off, or know that you lost that 5 pounds, or acknowledge that you paid off a credit card, or that you finished painting the fence. Whatever the goal was that you had set, when you complete it, celebrate. Use that accountability partner. Post it on my Facebook page. Share it in the comments below. This is a community that loves to celebrate every single win. Don't short yourself out by immediately going to the next task. Celebrate what you got done, and then by having that win under your belt, you're able to start the whole process over again, but now you'll know it works. I hope these tips have helped to motivate you towards completing a goal of yours. Let me know something you're working towards. I would love to celebrate with you when you get to that end goal. And also, your fellow viewers are always so supportive and can really give some great suggestions and encourage you when you do finally hit that goal. If you have a moment, please give this video a like, share it with someone who could benefit from these tips and suggestions. A huge thank you to you for stopping by, visiting again, and also to my patrons who allow me to make these videos. I will see you guys in just a few days with that Temu review that I'm so excited to share with. I'll see you then. Bye.